Hello, my name is Anthony Nagel, and I'm an investment advisor with Lowercase Capital. Today I want to share a personal experience I had with an individual from social media who was offering me some financial services. And before I do that, first, just a quick disclaimer. None of the information in this presentation is intended to be construed as investment advice, and please be sure to contact a financial or investment professional before making any financial or investment decisions. So what happened on social media recently? I've been seeing a lot of posts for people advertising Forex services, currency exchange trading services / business opportunities. And, I was interested, what is the deal with this? I've seen it a lot recently. And so clearly there has to be some new group out there or some new product out there. And I was just curious, what this was. So I reached out to one of these people and mentioned that I was interested in hearing about the Forex side of things, the actual trading side of things. And they mentioned that, there's this whole other side about team building and there's some upfront costs, but those can be offset by building your own team. And, I mentioned, that's great, but it's really just not what I'm looking for. And so we set up a meeting and I joined the meeting a couple of days later. And what immediately catches my attention is there's actually a second person in the meeting I wasn't told was going to be there. And this person actually ended up doing most of the talking. So I would probably call that not ideal just to start with. And this person was actually talking about all the things that I had specifically mentioned already I was not interested in. And so it's pretty clear to me that they had a certain direction they wanted to go. And, if you've talked with somebody who has a multi-level marketing product before, that is a core component of those types of businesses. And so they weren't going to forgo that discussion. And ultimately, what it really looked like is this Forex trading training service with the multi-level marketing component. That was actually the biggest part of the product. And actually, of the two people, the more senior person was mentioning that's where they focus. So for them, it's not even really about the training. It was really just about getting other people to pay for the service so that he can get paid. Maybe it shouldn't be so surprising, but I guess I was just I was surprised to see that on a Forex product. And so, all right, what is actually the product? They demoed their platform. They gave kind of maybe a standard pitch about the opportunities that multi-level marketing can present. And then they get into what is it that I would be paying for potentially. And it was a training service. So they had a good library of material. I would say it's sizable. There was a number of people giving live training sessions a couple times a week. And they even had maybe like a live trading room where you could, if you wanted to, trade alongside an expert of theirs and potentially make some money. In addition to that, they mentioned some features of this trading platform that comes with this product, and they can set you up with 1-minute options and 30-second options and 5-minute options on Forex currency pairs. And at that point, it kind of prompted a discussion with me, just asking about the statistical certainty with which someone can make a trade like that. Because I had done some research in the past on S&P, and the average S&P gain is 0.03% based on the data set I looked at, with the standard deviation being 0.3%. And so I was just openly wondering if that's a daily result, then maybe what type of noise might exist on top of a 1-minute or a 5-minute segment of trading. And so just wondering how someone could actually build a system around accurately predicting that. And it really seemed like the response I got was that of somebody that hadn't fully considered the numerical probabilities of what they were getting into. And so I'm not putting down what these people are doing, but I was just expressing for myself that I don't want to get into, there's no benefit to me trading on something that's essentially a coin flip is the best way to put it. I have no way of knowing going into that situation if this trade's going to work out or not. It's very different from the approach that we employ here for our investing strategies, where we build a model and you backtest the model, but you identify factors that you believe are going to be correlated with a positive return, and you test that hypothesis with the model and you build it over time, check the data, and then once you think you have a good product, then you work it going forward. And so I just didn't see a way to apply that to what they were discussing in this Forex product. And so moving on, in the conversation, at a certain point, they actually mentioned to me, they asked if I had heard of Bitcoins. And of course, I've heard of Bitcoins. I think pretty much anyone active in the financial space has at least heard of Bitcoins. And I mentioned, for the moment, at least I'm not that interested in it. And the person said, no, that's okay. But what you need to do is take the money that you're going to invest and put it into Bitcoins. And I said, all right. So that's in my head, that's a red flag. Why do I want to put my money into Bitcoins for investing? And this person explained the reason why is so that you can open your trading account outside the United States, open it with an organization outside the United States. And I said, all right, more red flags. This is getting, really bad. Why would I want to do that? Not, again, there's nothing wrong with that necessarily, but why is that a good thing for me? And this person explained the reason why is because if you open up a United States-based account, thanks to Dodd-Frank, apparently you can only achieve 50 times leverage. And your account's never going to grow at 50 times leverage, is what this person said. And so at that point, I think the disbelief on my face was impossible to hide because we were on a video Zoom call. But yeah, I couldn't imagine trading something like Forex on such a small time scale, using even binary options and with an account that's running apparently more than 50 times leverage. And so I kind of just explained I wasn't interested in the products. I hope it's working out for you. I think this is something that's probably not the best for me. And at that point, the call ended. So why do I bring this up? I think that there's a number of negative aspects to that conversation, maybe from end to end, talking about items that I didn't specifically mention I wasn't interested in the sales pitch, and going through the conversation and I'll say displaying maybe a lack of knowledge about the details of trading and the details of what their product was offering, and I think maybe not a full awareness of the risk that's present in that type of approach that they're offering to train people on. Really, at no point in that conversation was there any discussion about the potential for risk, that type of thing. And, maybe I'm being too harsh because it's on the surface, it's a training service. But it's very clear that this type of training service is getting people into risky activities. And so, I guess the message here is just be very aware of the type of conversations you're having when you're talking about financial services. Once you start to hear things about needing to open up an account overseas or anything about leverage, anything about options, there's nothing inherently wrong with that stuff, but just understand that they can be very risky and they have to be used in an informed way, or else you're going to get an investing result that's maybe not what you were looking for. Just for reference, for myself, my own personal trading, I don't do options. I don't do trading on a very small time scale, even intraday trading, just simply because generating a return at that time frame, at least for me, is very difficult, and for many is very difficult. I know that there are people that can do it successfully, but that's probably more the exception than the rule, and it's truly a skill. So I think at this point I'm maybe getting a little off topic. Please be sure when you're talking with people about these types of products that you explore actively the risks. How much risks are there here? What's my potential for loss? Because you don't want to get into a situation where you're losing money that you can't afford to lose or you didn't expect to lose, or maybe you didn't realize was at risk. So that's really all I have. It's a lot of words to say. Again, do your own research. It's a tired phrase, but really, there's people out there who are advertising these products, and I think that they're very, very risky as a personal opinion, and anyone would be well served to look closely into who is giving this training for these products, what financial institutions are associated with these products. Because I'll tell you, I looked into some of the trainers for these products, and they were folks that, at least in my opinion, I wouldn't want to take financial advice from. If you look at their resume, the biggest experience they had was 3 years as an expert technical trader. and before that they had work experience in completely unrelated and maybe even entry level type of jobs. And so there's nothing on surface that would qualify that person to provide this type of training. So the product is overpriced. The people presenting it were not interested in what I wanted to hear about. They were interested in what they wanted to say, and they were suggesting to me very risky investing activities without really, I think, an appropriate discussion around the level of risk that exists with those products. So anyways, just wanted to share that with people. Maybe you haven't come across it. If you do, just keep this in mind. So thank you.